What's up, everybody? Marvel the Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today, folks, we are looking at Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 70. And today's title is Strange. We have a pretty cool cover here. We have Spider-Man, and he's posing with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. And these are the ultimate versions, of course, of these characters. And so we have a pretty cool story to look at today. I saw from last issue that we were going to see Doctor Strange in this coming issue, and that's exactly what we're going to see as we are going to be looking at this issue today. Remember also that Peter Parker and Mary Jane promised to go on this very extravagant, expensive date, and that's exactly what we see is going to happen as we start this issue out. We have Peter Parker coming by. We see a very beautiful Mary Jane has her hair down. I know that some of you enjoy seeing her hair down, and that's exactly what we see here. And so we see that Peter Parker is like, wow, I can't believe it. He said, you look like a model. You look like you're 25. And he says, that's because you usually see me in overalls and hair clips. Peter says, that was a good idea. He said, told you. So they finally show up on this very extravagant date. And says, nothing wrong with us dressing up and blowing all of our allowance on a fancy night out. They look at the menu, and they're both mouths open up, and they're like, wow, I guess I'll be having the soup. And he said, let's get a lot of bread. And so she laughs. I guess the meals are pretty expensive. Peter says, you really do look great. She said, I'll stop it. He said, you do. She says, so tell me, what happened to you? When? That thing you wanted to tell me, how you, I don't know, something with a magician? Oh, okay, now? And Mary Jane's like, sure. Aren't we gonna order? He said, you in a hurry? Peter says, I don't even remember telling you, huh? So that's the first very strange thing. He's like, I don't remember telling you this. And then Mary Jane, so tell me now. And with that very sinister look, what is up with Mary Jane? So then Peter's like, yeah, okay. So he's going to relive the entire scenario, what happened earlier in the day. He was in class, he was bored, he remembered that Mary Jane was writing down all the notes because he's going to study with Mary Jane for the upcoming test. And he was looking, he keeps looking back at the empty desk of Gwen Stacy. He still feels guilty for her death, even though he wasn't there to stop the death, or he wasn't even responsible, really. But he still feels like he could have done something, and his friend, Gwen Stacy, is dead, and he wasn't able to stop Carnage. And so he had to get out of class, and that's exactly what he did. He left, he got his costume on, and he just started swinging through the city. And he's like thinking to himself, why do I keep doing this? I keep putting on the costume, and I don't know why. I keep putting my life in danger to help other people, and I swear to goodness, I really have no idea why. I really don't. So I swung around the city and I shook out the sillies, and oh, I stopped another pickpocket. I webbed him to a pole and got the wallet back. Probably spent more on webbing than the guy was stealing, but hey, I stopped him. And did the wallet's owner say thank you? No. But whatever. So with nowhere really to go, nothing to do, and the reminder that we had this date coming, I thought I might as well go to work. I might as well rack in a couple of extra bucks doing mindless grunt work at the Daily Bugle. And I was just about to get there when he came across a battle with the Ultimates. And they were fighting what we see here, this person that looks like half zombie, half robot guy. So yeah, Captain America, Hawkeye, Iron Man, that Black Widow chick. I think the Wasp was there, but she's so tiny, who could tell? People were running around like it was a Godzilla movie. That Iron Man dude had taken a hit and his armor was making this loud, piercing sound. He sounded broken, and though usually I hate getting in the middle of a fight when I don't know what the deal is, I was pretty sure that in this case it was a good bet to side with whatever side Captain America was on. I mean, he is Captain America. I've met the Ultimates before and all, but still, it's so crazy to meet people like that. the real big time superheroes, the professionals. So bizarre to see them in real life. It makes me shaky. It really is amazing. So yeah, I figured I might as well help them out. So Bonk clocked the half robot, half zombie on the back of his half robot, half zombie head. And we see that thanks to Spider Man's help, the Avengers were able to defeat this Luther Manning guy. And so his name, I believe it's Lockheed, I can't remember. But anyway, we see that Spider Man's like, well, can I at least know what the heck y'all are fighting about? And Captain America says, sorry, kid, national security. And we see that Clinton, who is Hawkeye, he's like, man, I can't stand kids. So this puts Peter Parker in a bad mood. He goes to the Daily Bugle. He's on the website writing this article, Baxter Building Nightmare, What the Government is Hiding from You. And while he's doing all of this, we see that then Jameson's going to call out Parker's name. He says, here, now. So he goes into the office and he said, what in the world are you wearing, Parker? He said, what, a shirt and a, never mind, listen, you remember we had that talk, that time when we had that talk? This is referring back to the time where Peter and Jameson had a talk, man-to-man talk, and we saw that Jameson rehired Peter Parker after firing him, and he promised that he would pair Peter Parker up with Ben Urich, and so that's what's going on. Ben Urich isn't too keen on teaming up with Peter Parker in this issue for some reason, but he's going to go ahead and do it anyway. And Peter Parker, being the young guy in the office, is now going to get some experience with an expert here, Ben Urich. And they're going to go see Doctor Strange. They're going to go see Doctor Strange's place, and there's this big story surrounding the original Doctor Strange. And so just to make things a little bit more clear, Peter Parker is going to tell Mary Jane that there are two Doctor Stranges. There's the original Doctor Strange, and then there's Doctor Strange's son. He had a son, and the original Doctor Strange is missing. So there's a big story surrounding the disappearance of the original Doctor Strange. Now, the new Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange's son. And so he's telling this to Mary Jane. And he said, remember that little documentary that me and you watched? Well, that's exactly everything that we saw in that documentary is true. We recall, and this is a retelling of how Doctor Strange, origin story, how he became Doctor Strange. He was in a dramatic car wreck. His pregnant wife died in the car wreck, and it also ruined his hands. And so he basically traveled the world searching for miracle cures, and he ended up going to the Himalayan mountains because he had heard that there's this miracle worker, this man in Tibet, that could help him with his hands. But what we're going to find is that Doctor Strange found more than what he was asking for, and he became the Sorcerer Supreme after getting the aid of the old man from Tibet, the ancient one. And so what we see then is Stephen Strange is then going to marry his former student, Clea, and she also becomes the mother of their son. And one day, out of nowhere, the original Stephen Strange disappears, and she has been looking for him ever since. And so her son, as we see here, Stephen Strange Jr., is going to then go and become the new Doctor Strange. He is going to study all of the different sorcerer rituals and stuff to become the new Doctor Strange, and he becomes a celebrity. And we see here that he's promising people personal salvation. He's kind of almost like this guru of some kind. And so we see that Peter Parker and Ben Urich are going to pay a visit to the Sanctum Sanctorum here. and they ring the doorbell. We see that Wong is going to answer, but Wong says that they cannot allow them in because the doctor is unavailable. Peter Parker's spider sense begins to go off here, and he notices something strange is going on. So Ben Urich is mad at what's going on. He says, "You live in Queens? Sorry, kid, but you're going to be on your own, okay?" And so he leaves Peter Parker, and Mary Jane's like, "Wow, that's crazy." It's like everyone else, every day it's the same thing over and over, but you, every day for you is the big adventure. Yeah, we talked about this. Why are you talking about this? And then she's like, "So you're 15?" He said, "Mary Jane, you know I'm 15. Why are you asking me this?" He says, "I know, I was just asking, what's the word rhetorically? You know, my point, Peter, it's amazing the life you lead. It's vibrant, exciting. People would kill to be you, trust me, but go on, go. What happened when you got into this Doctor Strange person's house?" So we see that Spider-Man breaks into the house here. Come to find out that Wong has been beating up Doctor Strange with this magical amulet of some kind. And he's like, "Wow, what happened then?" So, and then she's like, "And you're an A student too, huh?" Her eyes begin to turn red. All of a sudden, we see from behind there's these two people, and they look like, oh my goodness, it's Uncle Ben and Gwen. And then we reveal at the very end here that this is not Mary Jane, it's someone else. This is the villain called Nightmare, folks. One of Doctor Strange's villains. And he says, "You're having a nightmare, sweetie, and you're never going to wake up." I believe this is Nightmare. I could be wrong, but what we do have to worry about now is how is Peter going to get out of the situation? I mean, now he is living his own nightmare of some sort. And so, what is going to happen up next, folks? We have issue number 71 to look forward to. But before we look at that issue, go ahead now and give this video a big old like. Comment down below what you liked about this issue. Subscribe if you have not. And I will see y'all in the next one.